The reason I do this work is that I really believe in the beloved community. I believe that that's the solution to the problems we have in this country and this world. But before we get there, we have to have an understanding of what is. And what we're living in is this racialized system that's hurting all of us, no matter what race we are. And until we have an understanding of that and are able to talk about it with each other, then we'll be able to move towards that beloved community together. I really value working for World Trust and using the materials because it really does give people tools to push back against the narrative on race that we hear in our mainstream culture. It gives them this analysis, but it also gives them practice and very tangible tools on how to engage that discussion and tell a very different story. It's about storytelling. And oftentimes when there are trainings on race, there's a lot of academic jargon. It's necessary at times. And there's a lot of data and thinking around the analysis around it. And it's not that World Trust doesn't use some of that, we do, but what's really important is that we help people form a different narrative, a different story, and bring their own story to the table in the context of structural racism. And that's something that's not taught often, and it's not easily done, but World Trust really does tackle that. And what I hear from participants is that they're able to walk away with more confidence about talking about race. And that's really critical and important. I just returned from Egypt, 17 days in Cairo. And being who I am, of course, I'm having these conversations with Egyptians about issues of race and identity and how does that play in the context of their revolution. And one of the most uplifting things that happened there was a gentleman said, we're in a global movement together. They're very aware of what's happening here in the U.S. around issues of race and police brutality. And quite naturally, they talked about history and culture and identity, the various components of systemic racism that we talk about, and Cracking the Codes and all of the other films that World Trust puts out. And for me, that's another piece of the story that I feel I need to bring forth when I'm before any audience talking about race and being a facilitator, that we're part of a global movement. It's not just what's happening in your household or at your job, in your community, or even in the United States. The work we're doing here around race is part of a global struggle. And to put it in that context gives me hope, and I hope it gives other people hope as well.